Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, today we are talking about an activity that connects us all, an activity that we all do, an activity that connects us all to our food system and to our health. I'm talking about food shopping. Guys, today I'm going to share with you some of my staples, some of the food that I buy on a regular basis. Whenever I do my grocery shopping, that usually happens once a week, I have a list of foods that I'd like to purchase, to buy, or categories of foods, so that at any point during the week ahead, whenever I decide to cook a meal, I have everything I need to create nutritionally balanced, nutritionally rich meal that will keep me full and keep me going, So what do I usually pick up on my weekly grocery shopping trip? Let's start with different categories. So category number one for me, just like on my plate, is vegetables. And these are some of my favorite nutritionally dense vegetables that I do recommend to almost anyone. Per calorie, per bite, they do have quite a lot of nutrients, more than any other vegetables out there. So at first, let's talk about non-starchy vegetables. Those per calorie have the most amount of vitamins and minerals. I'm talking about my favorite ones are spinach, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, Swiss chard, kale, asparagus. So these are my favorite non-starchy vegetables that I usually cook. Also, sometimes I pick up things like manchou, or I think that's how you pronounce it in French, because it is from French. It's some sort of green beans. But this one specifically, it's really high in a lot of nutrients like vitamin B1, for example, vitamin C, vitamin K. But vegetables that are available in most places around the world that I tend to gravitate towards, again, because of their nutritional profile, the most amount of nutrients per calorie per bite. So spinach, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, Swiss chard, kale, asparagus. And those are the vegetables that I usually saute with, either just with water and my meats or fish, or with extra virgin olive oil that I usually add at the end of cooking, or coconut oil. So these are the vegetables I tend to buy a lot of. I used to buy a lot of bell peppers to cook with my vegetables, but now I'm rethinking nightshades in my diet because they do seem to cause problems. But anyhow, spinach, Brussels, broccoli, Swiss chard, kale, asparagus. Then not exactly in vegetable department, but closer to vegetables than anything else. Mushrooms, so button mushrooms, especially button mushrooms that are enriched or that were exposed to ultraviolet radiation and that developed vitamin D, a plant form of vitamin D. So I usually go for those. Sometimes I might also buy things like shiitake mushrooms, but usually button mushrooms. Why button mushrooms? Because they are super rich in potassium, at the same time give our food, whatever we decide to cook, this nice umami flavor or savory flavor. But again, rich in potassium, really low in carbs, fats, calories, protein, anything basically, but potassium, and great fiber beta glucans that feed our gut bacteria. So the vegetables, spinach, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, Swiss chard, kale, asparagus, and mushrooms. From starchy vegetables, I usually buy a few, maybe 2-3 per week. Sweet potatoes, bigger sweet potatoes of all kinds. Sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's orange, sometimes somewhere in between. But sweet potatoes, yeah, those ones I usually buy too. Now let's get back not back, but let's move forward to another category. I do buy beans and lentils, dried and canned. So canned ones, they are really convenient, but they do not necessarily preserve the most nutrients, but they are really convenient. So when I'm in a hurry or I don't feel like cooking, or for some reason I got really hungry, and I didn't have anything cooked or didn't want to cook, so I use something like canned beans or canned vegetables of all sorts, and then I might on top of that add canned seafood, like sardines, for example, or canned salmon or canned tuna sometimes, or boiled eggs. So 2-3 boiled eggs. That's my to-go, super easy, super fast to make meal. But when it comes to shopping, again, beans, lentils, especially green and brown lentils, a really great nutritional profile. So either canned or cooked. Avocados, they're kind of like, vegetable, but not really fruit. So I always buy avocados because of their high potassium content, also a great source of fiber and monounsaturated fatty acids that seem to be really great for our health. So avocados, I usually buy 3-4 per week. Also, I buy seaweed, dried seaweed, not every week, but whenever I run out of it. So seaweed, wakame or kelp, those two specifically have the most iodine, as it seems, per gram. So you need about like 2 grams of those to get your daily iodine in the best possible form. And then I just either soak it and add it to maybe to a salad or whatever I'm cooking, or I just put it dried in whatever I'm cooking, and while cooking it's kind of gets wet and edible. So wakame and kelp seaweed for iodine. And when it comes to plants, I also buy some fruit, because once a day I eat my fruit. I usually buy ripe bananas. I don't like green bananas. And I buy some seasonal berries and fruits. Sometimes, most of the time, I try to buy them fresh, but when berries are not available fresh, I buy them frozen. Raspberries or blueberries are my favorite. Then also, guys, I buy crushed flax and hemp seeds for fiber and all the omega-3 fatty acids, omega-3, omega-6, omega-9 we can find in hemp too. So crushed flax seeds, especially high in fiber and some minerals, but also omega-3 fatty acids, so crushed flax and crushed hemp or hemp hearts. Then I also buy some nuts and seeds. Again, a lot of plants. We're gonna get to meats and fish, but I do buy a lot of different plants. So nuts and seeds, the best ones, take it from nutritionists. Walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds. I usually buy them raw. They preserve nutrients the best, sometimes slightly roasted, because that might improve digestion of those nuts and seeds. So walnuts, almonds, hazelnuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. No salt, no sugar added, of course. I always buy sauerkraut. That is my favorite fermented food that is full of probiotics and highly beneficial for our gut bacteria. So sauerkraut is always in my shopping cart. Dark chocolate. I always buy dark chocolate. Really, really dark, 99 to 100% beneficial for our brain health and performance, for our heart health, and rich in polyphenols or plant antioxidants. Also seems to elevate mood and just overall enjoyable piece of healthy food. I usually buy like in bulk and then eat an ounce or 30 grams a day. So dark chocolate. Then I always make sure to pick up a few herbs and spices dried and fresh, whenever fresh are available of good quality. Usually I always go for herbs and spices mixes, maybe like Italian mix or a curry spice mix or Thai mix or Chinese, or for barbecue, for chicken, for omelette. I just make sure that there is no weird stuff, no weird ingredients, no sugar added, no sweeteners added. So those are two things that I'm looking at: no sweeteners, no weird ingredients, like monosodium glutamate or something like that. No, I usually buy spices and herbs mixes that have only dried spices and herbs and maybe some sea salt, and maybe some dried vegetables like tomatoes or bell peppers. And then you can easily make any dish taste like any country. So for example, one day it's going to be Italian just because you added that herb and spice mix. The next day it's going to be Chinese. The next day it's going to be Mexican. Really easy trick to make your food taste differently every single day, every single time you cook it. So herbs, spices. When it comes to oils and fats, I usually buy extra virgin olive oil and coconut oil. Those are two that I stick with, and that's it. I don't feel like I need to buy butter or anything else really. These also happen to be available anywhere where in the world where I travel or am living in. So non-refined coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil. And I usually add those oils at the end of my cooking. When it's almost done, I just mix it in to prevent oxidation as much as possible. And when it comes to olive oil, to preserve as many polyphenols or plant oxidants in extra virgin olive oil as possible, to make it as healthy as possible. So those are oils that I'm usually picking up if I run out of them, because if you buy a big bottle, it can last quite a long time. And now let's get to our meat and fish. So meat and fish, these are animal products that I researched, and they happen to have the most nutrients per bite per calorie, or have a very specific nutrient that they are rich in that sometimes I feel like I might need. So chicken livers, like a lot of B vitamins, vitamin A, a lot of iron, one amazing food, super cheap everywhere in the world, super easy to cook. And once you get used to that, you love the taste. Also, you can make some grilled chicken livers or chicken liver skewers that are quite popular in Southeast Asia, actually. Then I always buy mussels and oysters that I usually saute with my vegetables. High in zinc, high in iron, high in omega-3s, and a bunch of B vitamins. And also quite low actually in fat and in calories overall, and quite high in protein. Then I also get some sort of fatty fish, and it's not just salmon, it's also might be mackerel or herring, or sardines. There are so many different kinds of fatty fish actually. So don't just think that if you need your omega-3s, then you gotta buy salmon. No, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of fish with omega-3 fatty acids. My favorite actually are mackerel and herring, not salmon so much. I always, by the way, make sure that I have some of that fish canned. So again, when I don't feel like cooking, when I don't have time, when I got hungry and I feel like eating something, I might go for canned seafood, like canned salmon or canned sardines or herring. Also, I buy canned tuna that I like to add from time to time. I prefer my fish to be fatty fish with omega-3s. Tuna does not have a lot, but sometimes I just love canned tuna. And I just make sure that my canned seafood is in water or extra virgin olive oil and does not have anything but water or oil and some salt. And guys, make sure that your seafood, canned seafood or other products are not in some vegetable oil, like maybe sunflower or canola or safflower. Those oils are not great for consumption. Not in big amounts, not on regular basis. Avoid them as much as possible. But from all the evidence we have, it seems they might be pro-inflammatory and highly oxidative and just not good for overall health in general. So let's get back to some other products. Canned cod liver, I also buy that because 100 grams of that will contain 3-week supply of omega-3 fatty acids, 2-week supply of vitamin A, and I actually think 10-day to 2-week supply of vitamin A, and then 6-7-day supply of vitamin D. So canned cod liver, that's one amazing product, guys. And eggs, those are my animal products. I don't usually go for red meat of poultry or beef. I just stick with like shellfish, fatty fish, organ meats, and eggs because they are the highest in nutrients, in all kinds of nutrients per calorie per bite. Plus, they don't seem to have like possible negative health effects that beef, for example, might have, or poultry, especially if they are not organic and antibiotics or other substances could be used to grow them. So that's why I go with, that shellfish and fish and organ meats that seem to have all the benefits with none of the negatives. What else? I don't usually pick up dairy products for my own reasons, mostly because of digestion. But if you are someone who loves dairy, I would suggest to stick with 2 kinds of dairy: yogurt and kefir. All natural, all the fat is included, not some defatted or no fat product, and nothing added. So just whole milk and bacteria to ferment those products. No sugars, no additives, nothing. So if you like to have some dairy, I would suggest to stick with yogurts and kefirs. Kefir actually has more probiotic bacteria than yogurt. So if you like kefir, it's quite popular in many countries, and now it became that international food item. So if you like kefir, stick with kefir, not with yogurt, even though it doesn't have that yogurt consistency. So it's not like fluffy. Usually it's more like drinkable thing. These are my staples, guys, and I buy them and I don't feel like I need anything else really. I feel like it satisfies, and I actually check it. Actually, I do check it in databases and apps for nutritional profile, and to make sure that I'm eating all the nutrients I need to be eating on a regular basis and more. So let's recap what's in my weekly shopping cart. Vegetables: spinach, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, Swiss chard, kale, asparagus, sweet potatoes, all sorts of sweet potatoes, lentils and beans, dried and canned, avocados, bananas, fruit and berries. I buy also nuts and seeds, so walnuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, hazelnuts, almonds, crushed flax seeds, and hemp seeds. I also buy mushrooms, sauerkraut, wakame seaweed or kelp seaweed, super dark chocolate, like 99-100%, so there is no sugar added. I buy herbs and spices, usually mixes, but I always have things like paprika, sweet paprika, or black pepper. But I also buy things like curry spice, Italian spice, Mexican herb and spice mixes. Oils: I buy extra virgin olive oil and coconut oil. Onions, garlics, by the way, guys, I always have those fresh red onions, and if I can find red garlics, but if not, I just usually go for whatever is available. Meat, fish, animal products. My favorites are chicken livers, mussels, oysters, some sort of fatty fish, salmon, herring, mackerel, sardines, tuna. Tuna I usually buy canned and don't eat a lot because it's not sustainable, might have mercury and just has so many issues. So I don't buy a lot of tuna, but I do buy a lot of canned sardines. Canned cod liver, high in omega-3s, vitamin A, vitamin D, eggs. And if you are a fan of dairy, look out for yogurts, all natural, and kefirs, nothing added and nothing removed, just whole milk and bacteria. And that's about it, guys. How much do I buy of all of it? I just buy a few bags, like vegetables, for example. I know I eat about 500 grams of those spinach, Brussels, broccoli, Swiss chard, kale, or asparagus a day. Plus, on top of that, I add onions, garlics, mushrooms, some avocado. So I usually would buy 6-7 packs of those, fresh or frozen. And then I buy for every day of the week. I would buy some sort of animal products. I usually buy a little bit more so I can choose from it, but I would always make sure that I don't waste anything. So if I don't finish something this week, I eat it first the next week, and I just take it into account doing shopping for the next week. So meat, fish, we talked about that, how much I buy, and then things like nuts, seeds, just a regular pack. So I have like a handful per day. Sweet potatoes, I would buy 2-3. I'm not like eating them every day. Avocados, I would buy 4 or 5 per week. Herbs, spices, so I have something for every single day. Dark chocolate, I usually buy in bulk. Sauerkraut, like some sort of bucket that lasts me usually a couple of weeks. And oils, whenever I need to buy a new one, I usually buy 1/2 liter bottle. And that's about it, guys. Really easy and simple. And basically what I have in my mind while doing shopping is that idea of, okay, every day on my plate, I have mostly vegetables. I have some sort of protein, nutrient dense and with essential fats. And then I need something to cook with to make it delicious. So here you have your herbs, spices, and oils. And then there are some foods that I buy for specific purposes, like sauerkraut, gut health, wakame or kelp seaweed, iodine, and thyroid health. Crushed flax, I do tend to run low sometimes on fiber and omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids. So I buy them for that purpose and eat a spoon or 2 tablespoons per day. Fruit, I eat some fruit daily. Mushrooms for umami flavor and potassium and gut-friendly fiber, I buy them like a lot. So I have usually I go through 1 kilo of mushrooms per week. And then some days I like to go vegan, and then I'm gonna eat my sweet potatoes or lentils and beans. Every single day I might eat like a handful or maybe a couple of handfuls of nuts and seeds. And so I keep that in mind, my eating patterns, right? Making sure that I get covered my main plate with a lot of vegetables and protein, and to make it delicious, like herbs, spices, and oils, and those special foods. And that's about it. It's not the exact amounts unless I have to make it exact. I try to not waste food and eat everything I buy. And that's it, guys. And the foods that I've chosen for my shopping cart, weekly shopping cart, are the foods that have the most amount of meaningful for a human being nutrients that we actually need, that are essential. So these foods I chose because they are the most nutrient dense foods. And some foods I don't like, some foods those foods I don't include in my shopping cart. And in some different parts of the world, you might have something different slightly or a lot, and that's fine. But these are the foods I find they are quite international, so they travel well. And I can find them anywhere in the world, and I do travel and change locations quite often, so it's important for me. That's about it, guys. I've shared with you my shopping cart, and let me know what you think. And if you have any questions about your shopping cart, what might be missing in it, or what you might want to add for some nutritional properties or nutritional deficiencies that a lot of people are experiencing these days, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. I can also help you to analyze your weekly meals for nutrient adequacy and deficiencies to improve your health, short and long term. So reach out. Don't forget to share this episode with maybe someone who does the shopping in your household or who does a lot of grocery shopping, and maybe you discuss my shopping list, and then you decide to check out some foods together on your next trip to a grocery store. So together, everything is better, guys. We learn better, we remember better, we are more motivated to stick with our better eating habits. So share, ask questions, and as usual, guys, till next time, eat better daily.